Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have for you another episode of Classic MMA Revival here on the Pride Resurrection channel. If you're missing the dulcet middle American tones of the most dangerous man alive today, soon to be known as Stern Dad 2.0, because apparently he looks like Andrei Kopylov with a beard, you will be surprised to find that it is I, Alistair, returning to the channel once again to talk about the finest aesthetic mixed martial arts promotion in all the world, the Lumax Cup. After a very long search, I have found the Lumax Cup Tournament of J, both the heavyweight tournament and the light and middleweight tournament. So I'll be doing those in two separate videos. But today, we have the heavyweight tournament of 1997. So, let's press play. Yes! My favorite late 90s, rough-looking, textured, computer graphics battle station. Great to see. Lumax Cup Tournament of J, 1997, held on July 27, 1997. Today we will have such fighters as Lump of Shit, Sene Kikuta, Lump of Shit, Akira Soji, Masanori Suda, hard man, sort of unknown hard man of Japanese mixed martial arts. We'll have Toshinobu Komeya, extremely large boy of Wajutsu Keshikai School. I will have Hiroyuki Yoshoika, veteran of all the Lumax Cup tournaments. He has fought in every single one. And Ryuta Sakurai, a man who spent a long part of his career in Deep and is a definite known name to hardcores who follow JMMA. We also have a bunch of other people without Wikipedia pages, so we can ignore them as we watch the rest of this. So I believe the Lumax Cup decided to separate into weight classes in 1997 because they had quite a few big guys apply and then quite a few medium-sized guys apply as well as some small ones. And so they thought instead of lumping everyone in together, they'd have some weight classes make things a little bit more fair. But the weight classes were pretty wide. So I believe heavyweight was 80 kilos plus, middleweight was 80 kilos minus, and lightweight was 70 kilos minus. So here we're seeing some of our competitors. We've had Lump of Shit, Akira Soji. We've had other Lump of Shit, extremely large boy of Wajutsu Keshikai, Toshinobu Komeya. We have Sene Kikuta, another Lump of Shit, but I quite like Sene Kikuta. Outside of Pride, he's a very exciting fighter, great submission finishes. His fight with Minoru Suzuki in Pancras is absolutely insane and super great, but inside Pride, he was just incapable of having a fun fight. We have Masanori Suda, this year wearing a Sambo Kurtka, rather than, I believe last year he wore a Jiu-Jitsu gi. We have Lumax Cup veteran, Hiroyuki Yoshoika. And so he didn't have much of a career outside. We have Man of Deep, Ryuta Sakurai. Also showed up a couple of times in Pride, on the Pride Bushido label. Same with Masanori Suda. We have, I believe this is Kaichi Tsuji. And who do we have in our last fighter in the Brady Bunch? We have Jun Kitagawa, also of the Wajutsu Keshikai School. So it's a good little lineup for the Tournament of J. Should be up for a fun night of fights of an 8-man tournament. I believe it's actually a fun middle of the day of fights, based on how they have it. Here we have the rules of Lumax Cup. I believe this is a scoring criteria for the judges. Or I could just be talking about my ass. But whatever it is, it's Japanese kanji and Hindu-Arabic numerals, so I can tell you what the numerals mean, but I can't tell you what the kanji mean. At some point I do want to go to Japan, so I should probably learn at least part of the language. And we're going to have an interview with Sune Kikuta, where they're going to pretend that this wasn't done the day after the fight. Sune Kikuta looking pretty happy to be there, looking pretty great in his polo shirt. And his interviewer here has walked straight out of a country race carnival in Australia, because he's wearing a salmon pink shirt and tan trousers, and that is straight up country race car. Going to watch the horses race, bet away all your money and drink a lot of piss. That is what that man is dressed up, ready to do. Snake Kikuta, of course, in a polo shirt and dad jeans, a look I have worn many times in my life. And on his lap he has his judo gi. I believe actually this time it will be a jiu-jitsu gi. Based on the fact that it is not pure white and he has a bunch of NASCAR shit all over it. As usual, I can't tell you anything about what they're saying. I'm going to say that the big old J graphic looks pretty great, and the CRT monitors. Really a glimpse into the past here. And I can tell you that our main man, Sune Kikuta, has said "Sodesne" many times, which, just as I say that, he says it again, which I have taken to mean the Japanese equivalent of "yena." And so here we are, getting introduced to his patches on his gi. So we have eggs, sponsored by Big Poultry here. We also have the Ultimate Muscle Kanuka-man face. One of the guys I trained with had a Kanuka-man patch. We have Silverstone American Used Clothing Genetics Co. Limited. So Silverstone, obviously, trading in vintage clothing and vat-bred super soldiers. We have eggs, which I can't read, and then I can't read the subtitle of eggs, but we do have the Kanuka-man face, which looks pretty great. That's a nice patch. So obviously, Sune Kikuta liked watching Kanuka-man as a kid, and probably that inspired him to pick up fighting. That is a not uncommon thing in Japanese mixed martial arts. Who was it who watched Tiger Mask? Masakatsu Funaki watched Tiger Mask and picked up professional wrestling. Same thing with Ikis the Punk Minowa. Well, Ikis the Punk Minowa, also known as Minowa Man the God. He watched Kanuka-man and Tiger Mask as a kid, and listening to him, well, not listening to him in interviews, reading translations of his interviews, he basically says, what I do now is what I thought pro wrestling was as a child, so in my mind I'm a pro wrestler, and I think that's pretty cool. Oh, we're going to get a zoom in of eggs. We're going to read something garden special. Kadokawa Shoten, that is a manga production house. I've actually looked that up because I looked at all these patches and I wondered what this stuff means. Kadokawa Shoten, I can't tell you any of the anime, any of the manga that they produce, but, you know, I'm sure it's lots of sporting stuff. And then we have the final patch, which I really like. It's some good English here. It is Relax Deluxe All of Item. I'm not sure what that is meant to mean, but whatever it means, Sune Kikuta felt pretty strongly about wearing it on his back. Of course, that can be drawn directly to, a comparison can be drawn to Caucasian idiots getting Japanese kanji tattooed on them that means stuff like chicken soup. Alright, so we've got our first fight here, which is Tsuneki Kuda taking on Jun Kirigawa of the Wajutsu Keshikai School. Wajutsu Keshikai, of course, the school founded by Yoshinori Nishi, the winner of the first Lumax Cup of 1994. Fighter in rings, and by that I actually mean fighter, because he actually had some shoots. And the third most... No, I'm going to say the second most legit guy to ever lose to Hickson Gracie. Next up we have Hiroyuki Yoshoika taking on Toshinobu Komeya. Eagle-eyed viewers may remember Hiroyuki Yoshoika from our previous episodes of Valet Tudo... not Valet Tudo Japan, of the Lumax Cup Tournament of J. And Toshinobu Komeya from Japan Extreme Challenge Valet Tudo. Or was it a Japan Extreme Valet Tudo Challenge? There we go. Jektvo. Oh... Japan Extreme Valet Tudo Challenge Open of 1997, which was held earlier this year, which was a basically Wajutsu Keshikai School versus Pado Sport of Renko Pado. There we had Kaichi Tsuji taking on Akira Soji. Can't tell you much about Kaichi Tsuji, but Akira Soji would eventually end up fighting in Pride, another Keshikai guy. And here we have Masanori Suda taking on Ryuta Sakurai. Not the first time these guys have met in the Lumax Cup. They fought last year, I believe. Which was the first year that Tsuneki Kuda won it, so he's coming back seeing if he can make it 2 in a row. It's a shame that Masanori Suda only showed up in Pride once, because he's quite a good fighter. And here we have... Remember that dipshit from Pride 1? It was Kazunari Murakami! Have the guys warming up on the... jigsaw mats in the middle of the basketball stadium. And so here we have one side of the bracket, which of course is Kirigawa, Kikuta, Yoshoika, and Komeya. And the other side of the bracket, which is Suda, Sakurai, Tsuji, and Soji. I quite like Ryuta Sakurai as a fighter too. He is currently 47, 48, maybe a bit older, and he is in killer shape. Won the last fight of his that I watched. He beat Hikaru Sato in a Pancrase versus Deep event. Dropped Sato with a short left hook and then dropped him again with a jab before finishing him with ground and pound. So he's obviously a strong fucking guy. A little bit of acne scarring above the left eyebrow of Tsuneki Kuda. So maybe he was a pimply teenager, and that is why he has taken up fighting later in his career. He's talking about how well he will enjoy using the dogi because he is a judoka. Well, primarily a judoka before picking up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu later in his career and going on to win the Abu Dhabi Combat Club. Or did he get bronze? Whatever he did pretty well. Did better than Eddie Bravo and then didn't start his own school and become a conspiracy theorist fucking moron. Eddie Bravo, decent jiu-jitsu coach, inventor of some moves, or repurposer of some moves, which I think is pretty cool, using some stuff from outside of traditional jiu-jitsu and bringing it into Brazilian jiu-jitsu and saying, this shit works, use it you fucking morons. Which I thought was pretty cool. There is a Hoyler Gracie black belt who's currently in the UFC, who he won his last fight with like rubber guard, which I thought was really cool, because those that know, Eddie Bravo had the rivalry with Hoyler Gracie for several years there, and then a Hoyler Gracie black belt using that stuff to win the fight shows that, you know, not everyone in Jiu-Jitsu is a fucking moron. Just Eddie Bravo. And he's also currently promoting the most ridiculous show, which is Jiu-Jitsu Overtime, which is just straight up the Eddie Bravo Overtime rules. It's the fucking worst. Jun Kirigawa, can't tell you very much about. I will currently look up his record, but doesn't have a Wikipedia page. Gonzui is apparently his name, and he had a final career record of 4-8. Retired in 2006, so yeah, not very much going on. Alright, here we go. Time to fight. Tsuneki Kuda taking on Jun Kirigawa. Tsuneki Kuda going for the Kosotogari, I've been told. That, no, not Kosotogari. That was Ouchigari. Front kick from Jun Kitagawa. Good grips from Tsuneki Kuda here, reaching over the top of Jun Kitagawa's gi. Kitagawa going pretty hard on that lapel grip, hitting a nice knee, possibly catching Tsuneki Kuda in the cup there, or just, you know, low on the body. Tsuneki Kuda going for the single leg. Kitagawa sprawling out. The referee, Yoshinori Nishi, walking them back to the center of the ring before calling a fight. Tsuneki Kuda not even bothering with striking, just going straight into judo grip fighting. That was pretty cool. And a nice knee tap. Very nice throw there. So that was pretty cool. He threw a right hand, punched Jun Kitagawa in the face, and then used the follow through the punch to reach over and grab his gi. Then he threw him, then he pulled guard, and then butterfly swept him, which is, you know... So this is what Tsuneki Kuda is capable of, and then just for some reason in Pride, he was just boring as all hell. Trying to set up lapel chokes here, which is extremely difficult in the gi. Because lapel chokes, you're kind of relying on the hardness of your fist that's gripping the lapel to help finish them. It's not completely necessary, but the grip opens quite a lot of space. Jun Kitagawa locking in the scorpion hold on the leg of Tsuneki Kuda. Scorpion hold, otherwise known as the Eddie Bravo lockdown. Kitagawa, seemingly a legit dude, because he's got a properly worn out black belt, that one. It's a judo black belt that has been worked properly. And he's also not having the Keshikai patch on the back of his shoulder, so I'm wondering why they kept saying Keshikai when they introduced him. Maybe he'd moved to the school after doing all that judo. Open guard here, collar and sleeve grip from Jun Kitagawa. Oh, and it's time for the... classic thing of the Lumax Cup, everyone to be scooched over to the center of the ring. And the crowd loves it. And, instead of bad boy butt eyes, Tsuneki Kuda has the Ultimate Muscle Kanuka Man face on his ass. And Kikuta sitting right back here, so he's going into the straight ankle lock attack. Kitagawa doing the right thing, gripping the lapel, trying to pull himself up after Kikuta, but he needs to clear the legs at the same time. Kikuta changing angles here. Well done, Jun Kitagawa, to stand up. But Kikuta keeping entangling his legs. Working an overhead sweep here. Going to toe hold. Kitagawa taking his back here. And Tsuneki Kuda uses the toe hold to hula hoop him around and put him on the bottom. Kitagawa kicking up for an armbar. Getting the shin across the face of Tsuneki Kuda before backing out of that. Returning to normal guard. He's lost grips here. Tsuneki Kuda's got a hold of that ankle. Drags him away from the edge. Sits back on the ankle lock. Turns over belly down with a single leg crab. And has tapped Jun Kitagawa in not very long at all in the first round. 3-14. And there you are, your winner. And on to the second round is Tsuneki Kuda. Nice ankle lock too, right down the bottom on the ankle joint. You don't want to be on the calf, you don't want to be too high on the Achilles tendon. You want to be right on the point where the tendon attaches to the heel. That way, not only are you causing pain through the nerve that runs down the Achilles tendon, you are also separating the ankle basically on the top. I'm going to plug Sakuraba and... Koichi Miki's? Yeah, I think it's... Because this is Sakuraba and Koichi Miki's YouTube 39 channel, where they just talk shit in their gym about Sakuraba's fights, or call up guys that he's trained with or fought with previously. They had a episode where they ran down sort of all of Sakuraba's signature moves, so the straight armbar, the double wrist lock, and then the straight ankle lock, and how to do those. And Sakuraba demonstrated that the way you want to be doing a straight ankle lock is basically the same way you open a beer bottle. So yeah, if you imagine that the fulcrum of the bottle opener is the point where you lift up on the tip of the beer, and the fulcrum, that's where the ankle joint is. So the lip of the beer cap is the ankle joint. The fulcrum of the can opener should be where your forearm goes. And that's basically what you're doing. You're separating the ankle from the upper leg. That's how you make it hurt properly. Next up, we have Yuki Yoshoika taking on Toshinobu Komeya. And there we are, the symbol of the Keshukai school, an upside-down triangle with a red ink swirl. He's got flags of that all over his gym. This gym reminds me of the first place I ever trained in. It was called Prodigy MMA. It is in Artarmon, Sydney. It's an excellent gym. #1 amateur lightweight, or is he a featherweight? Harry Thompson fights out of there. He fights out of the Brookvale gym, but you know, there's still the same coaches, just in different places. So they're definitely legit. But yeah, I remember that because it was just this tiny little room above a garage in Sydney that overlooked a brothel out one of the back windows. As you do. So here's Kazunari Murakami coaching Toshinobu Komeya through how to crank the shit out of someone in the top of near ride. Toshinobu Komeya looking sweaty as hell. And this is the fight that we've previously seen of Toshinobu Komeya. It was a piece of garbage. We saw Toshinobu Komeya's sumo underwear / thong the whole time. And then the Dutch guy beat him by punching him in the dick and then punching him in the face super hard afterwards, which rocked him. And then when the fight got restarted, he just went apeshit on Toshinobu Komeya's noggin. Komeya doesn't really look super comfortable getting hit. It's got the traditional garbage Japanese facial hair there, wispy beard and mustache. Looks about as good as what I can grow. So Toshinobu Komeya, I believe, had only had one mixed martial arts fight at this point. Let's double check. Yeah, at this point, so he'd lost to Jerry Kalia at Japan Extreme Valley Judo Challenge Open, and then has gone on to fight Hiroyuki Yoshoika here on the Lumax Cup tournament of J. In Hiroyuki Yoshoika's corner, we have piece of shit human being Kazuhiro Kuzainagi. Kuzainagi fought in Shuto. Got the shit beaten out of him by Dave Levesque, fought for a very long time. And the reason he is a piece of shit is because it has come out fairly recently, I believe late last year, that he was grooming 14 and 16-year-old girls who went to his jiu-jitsu gym. So, fuck that guy. Yeah, I hope he's in prison. I hope he's, you know, not living a good life currently. Hiroyuki Yoshoika, however, I don't know. Apart from fighting in the Lumax Cup and going apeshit on the head of Toshinobu Komeya here, who doesn't seem to like being hit very much. Yeah, Yoshoika just going to absolute town on the noggin of the big boy Toshinobu Komeya, who's got a hold of the back of his gi now. Yoshoika doing his best to break the grips. Ambitious there from Hiroyuki Yoshoika, trying to throw the significantly larger Toshinobu Komeya. You've got to... If you were trying to get... And then Toshinobu Komeya, nice overhook Haraigoshi there. Good judo instincts from Hiroyuki Yoshoika, however. He went face down and then managed to return to standing. Claret coming from the noggin of Hiroyuki Yoshoika, running directly into his mouth, which is always deeply uncomfortable. Komeya working an overhook here. Look at the sheer difference here. Yoshoika's putting all of his weight into Toshinobu Komeya, and Komeya's like leaning slightly forward and barely moving. So I think that Hiroyuki Yoshoika was used to big boying people in the gym, and coming up against someone who's significantly larger is causing him some issues. Nice throw defense there from Hiroyuki Yoshoika. Managed to defend that second of the Uchimata / Haraigoshi attempts from Toshinobu Komeya. Komeya's blood dripping onto the back of Hiroyuki Yoshoika's neck and gi. We've had an exchange of referees here. Yoshinori Nishi's decided to go sit down and judge, and he's brought in somebody else. And we can see that there aren't very many people here to watch the Lumax Cup Tournament of J 1997. Another nice overhook Uchimata by Toshinobu Komeya. straight into the top of side control, just putting his weight on Hiroki Yoshoika, which would be a uncomfortable place to be. Trying to big boy jiu-jitsu, well, big boy grappling Toshinobu Kamea there with the hammerlock from side control. Hiroki Yoshoika has gone belly down, and oh, this is ambitious. And the crowd loves it already. Yeah, they brought in everybody they can to scooch everyone back to the center of the ring, and they're moving inches at a time. We've got the J. Jonah Jameson Pride referee, whose name I don't know. It's not Yuji Shimada. It's not Minoru Toyonaga. It's the other one. It's the one with the flat top and the J. Jonah Jameson mustache. So someone please tell me what his name is in the comments. Toshinobu Kamea going to side back, hooking one leg of Hiroki Yoshoika, grinding his elbow into the back, and while he's bleeding onto the pristine white gi of Hiroki Yoshoika. He's trying to... I don't know if he's trying to turn him over, or he's just kind of flattening him out and looking at him at the moment. Yeah, not very much going on, and I'm surprised that the referee hasn't called stalemate, because in the previous years of Lumax Cup Tournament of J, this level of inactivity on the ground would not be acceptable. They would have held, I believe they called contact, and then it was a 8 count before they returned to standing. But apparently they're just letting it go this year, which I think is, I think it's a mistake. I think the 8 count in the stand-up is a integral part of Lumaxing. Toshinobu Kamea landing some body punches, little baby arm body punches to Hiroki Yoshoika. I'm not going to say that they wouldn't hurt because it's a big old fucking arm, but he's not putting much hip or weight into them. Yoshoika just seems to be, well, I'm not going to say content to sit on the bottom, but he doesn't seem to be trying to return to all fours and get back to standing. And he's got no excuse, because I weigh less than Hiroki Yoshoika, and I was training with a professional super heavyweight by the name of Leo Ilalio. He's a good friend of mine, currently living in the Northern Territory, I believe, bouncing at a bar. He's sort of done with fighting for the moment. But lead up to one of my fights, basically we just had Leo starting in mount, and I had to get the fuck up from underneath a super heavyweight. And I could fucking do it, so Hiroki Yoshoika, you've got no excuse. See, we see the punches from Yoshoika to the noggin of Toshinobu Kamea, but he's a significantly larger dude, so getting that knockout is going to be hard work. Nice big throw from Toshinobu Kamea into side control, and of course the boys are going to go back to their corners. By corners I mean edges of the mat, be treated for bleeding and then sent back out for the second round before we reach a judge's decision. Well, that's if there is no if there's no finish, of course. They've cleaned up the face of Toshinobu Kamea. Ice on the back of the neck of Hiroki Yoshoika. That's always a nice feeling. Sort of cools down your blood, makes it way easier to breathe. Bring that core temperature back to normal. Alrighty, time for the second round. Yoshoika throwing punches, but committing too hard, and so he's now being gripped by the significantly larger Toshinobu Kamea. Kamea going for a rear sweep there, and now he is... Yoshoika fucking going for those throws. I respect it, but you're not going to get it. Toshinobu Kamea shaped like a rock, and throwing rocks is difficult. Oh, nice counter to the throw by Hiroki Yoshoika. Manages to prevent that throw, and Toshinobu Kameya is flat on his face, and now going for the STF is Hiroki Yoshoika. Good on you, boss. Yeah, he's doing it. He's put his leg all the way through. He's dragging it through. He's trying to lock it up. You'd be better off going for the choke, man. Mind you, Toshinobu Kameya is a big guy, and big guys have shitty knees. Although, he just manages to turn over and throw Hiroki Yoshoika off that. So yeah, if you find yourself in a fight against a significantly larger person, fucking heel hook him. Because quite often, big guys, their knees are just sort of waiting to explode. Because you can strengthen quadriceps and calves and hamstrings, but you can't really strengthen ligaments. They're always going to pop. Especially with the amount of force that's going through big man's legs. Yeah, it's not good. Knee to the body from Toshinobu Kameya. That's some more. Do some more of that. Hit him. You're significantly larger. Just start throwing strikes, especially in the clinch, because you'll be able to bully the hell out of him. But Kameya seems content just to kind of hang out here for a little while. I mean, if he just sprawled on the back of the neck of Hiroki Yoshoika, that'd work too. By content to wait here, I mean content to just stand here bleeding and ruining the gi of Hiroki Yoshoika. But Yoshoika's not doing what he needs to do to win this fight either. We're just sort of in a point where it could go either way. Yoshoika definitely lost the first round, and despite the effort of that, the step over Cash Cross. DDT from Hiroki Yoshoika. That's pretty cool. Sends up running the head of Toshinobu... Fuck, I've done it again. DDT from Toshinobu Kameya runs the head of Hiroki Yoshoika into the floor there. Sort of pulls it over, hook and a guillotine at the same time, and just slammed Yoshoika's head into the ground. And Yoshoika's gotten to his knees, but he's not building up, not trying to move away from the big boy of Toshinobu Kameya. Which is a mistake against large guys. You need to make large guys work on the ground, because they gas. They can get far too comfortable just sort of staying still and letting people on the bottom work themselves out. So if you manage to get on top, quite often they're just like turtles. And that's the end of the round. We'll see a replay of Toshinobu Kameya's attempt at the calf crush there. Fuck, I've done it again. Hiroki Yoshoika's attempt at the calf crush there, and Toshinobu Kameya's punches. And they have given the fight to Toshinobu Kameya, the big fella himself. So well done, mate. On to the second round. Bows again as he leaves the stadium out the back. Sends his corner sprinting off for something. And he appears to be very tired. Hiroki Yoshoika looking very tired, probably happy with himself for doing a decent job against the bigger guy, but yeah, he didn't fight particularly smart, kept getting caught up in the grips rather than just beating the shit out of Toshinobu Kameya, which probably would have netted him the win if he'd managed to avoid the handles of the big man. Of course, that brings into thought the gi. It's way easier to grab a hold of someone when they're bearing a big chunk of cloth. Makes grabbing onto them way, way easier. And here is a young, baby-faced, fairly in-shape Akira Soji. Of course, in his Pride days, he just get rounder and rounder through the middle. That's a pretty nice throw there. The fireman's carry over into neck scissors. Very fresh-faced Akira Soji. I barely remember him looking like this. Here's Kazunari Murakami doing more coaching at the Waijutsu Keshikai School. For talking about the best fighters out of the Keshikai school, it's definitely Kao Uno, probably followed kind of closely by the Daiju, Daiju Takase, and then Akira Soji. Kazunori Murakami wasn't bad. After all, he did flatline Bart Vale, and he did pretty well at the Lumax Cup tournament of J, but he's just kind of middling. Had a far better professional wrestling career than he did a mixed martial arts career. And quite a few of the other fellas from the Keshikai school are just kind of okay. But I think that Yoshinori Nishi was just sort of selling the goodness of his school, and so by doing so he entered in this lot of school versus school challenge and put up a lot of guys that probably weren't quite ready or weren't in perfect fighting shape. Didn't have that killer instinct. Here's Kachitsuji warming up his neck and his back. And his crack! Apparently also a wrestler wearing a karate gi from the looks of things, or a kudo gi. So he's gone down to the local martial arts outlet store and spent 500 yen on the first gi he could find that would fit. That's if he's anything like me. He's got a nice big cauliflower area, so he's definitely shoots with his head on the left side. Alright, here we go. Akira Soji in his Keshikai gi. Kachitsuji hitting a nice overhook throw using the back of Akira Soji's gi, using that whizzer to prevent the takedown here, managing to return to standing. Will he be able to break this clinch and finish the takedown either on top or... tries to drag Akira Soji over the top, but Soji manages to base out. Greedy from Kachitsuji there. Now he's on the bottom of half guard, gets the underhook. Akira Soji throwing a body punch. Underhook escape, pretty classic from our man Kachitsuji. Back to standing, and the referee has called break. They will return to the mat. Back fighting. Kachitsuji thinking about kicks. Throws a 1-2, immediately ducked under and into the clinch by Akira Soji. Knees to the body from Kachitsuji using the whizzer. Goes to collar tie, hits a nice knee. Nice Morote Seoinage attempts from our man Akira Soji. And now we are back in the clinch. He's using the double lapel grip, which is kind of not what you need when you're getting kneed in the fucking face. It is tying up the arms of Kachitsuji, but it's not making it any harder for him to land throws. Nice Kazushi! That is balance breaking from our man. And nice use of the gi into uppercuts from Akira Soji. That's cool. I like that. Straight out of the Paul Kale Kudo seminar. That is one of the things he told us to do in a Kudo fight, or a fight with a guy who's wearing a jacket. Grab a hold of the lapel of the jacket, flip the jacket over their head, and then punch him in the fucking face. His words, not mine. So I think that's pretty cool. Well done, Akira Soji. He's coming off worse, but he's showing some cool stuff so far. Low kick from Kachitsuji, another inside low kick, counter, long right hand from Akira Soji, knee to the body from Kachitsuji, knee to the face from Akira Soji, nut knee back from Kachitsuji, nicely done, knee to the liver. Akira Soji way more comfortable with the gi grips, it seems. I think that Kachitsuji is much more of a gi-less fellow, based on the fact that he's wearing a Kyokushin karate gi rather than any grappling arts gi. Oh, nice from Akira Soji, reaching all the way over to the belt, dragging Kaichi Tsuji to the ground and getting his back. Kaichi Tsuji returns to standing, fighting the hands of Akira Soji, and gets hit with a nice trip back to ground. A mat return from our man Akira Soji. How will the wrestling chops of Kaichi Tsuji help him here? Back take attempt from Akira Soji, one hook. That hook got dislodged by Kaichi Tsuji. Tsuji remaining tight in turtle. Nice step off from Akira Soji to side back. Kaichi Tsuji grimacing. Akira Soji putting his leg over the head, maybe thinking for like an inverted triangle. Knees to the body on the ground. Nice meanness. The meanness you need in this sort of rule set. Yeah, I definitely think they've gotten rid of the stalemate on the ground rule, which is a huge mistake by the men at the rules meetings of the Lumax Cup. The stalemate rules on the ground made it a far more interesting event. Not that the event has been boring, but you know, there have been moments of laxity and dullness that there just simply weren't in the 1996, 1995, or the 1994 Lumax Cups. No doubt you just heard somebody hooting the fuck around. That's what you get for living in a country town. You get idiots driving around with no mufflers in their cars. Back control from Akira Soji, but he's quite high on the back. It'd be fairly easy to shuck off if our man Kaichi... Oh, I say it'd be fairly easy to shuck off, but there's a gi to hold on to. So it'd be... Yeah, now he's in a better spot. His hips are above the hips of Kaichi Tsuji there. So now he's able to land punches from the back with impunity. He shall not be impugned. Kaichi Tsuji building up a little bit, trying to shuck his shoulders, dislodge Akira Soji. Needs to build up all the way to his feet and tripod on his head, because he's got him high. And here come the referees for the patented scooching. I think Akira Soji's nose is bleeding because there's a red patch on the shoulder of Kaichi Tsuji. Back fighting. And the end of time has been reached. Kaichi Tsuji has lost his gi. His corner tell him to face back to the center of the ring. What do you do? This is Lumax. And you must respect your opponent and the mat that you fight on. Alrighty, interesting round there. Good judo and gi work from Akira Soji, but he definitely came off second best in striking. Definitely did have the edge in grappling over Kaichi Tsuji there, but I'm not sure if that is... I think that was mostly due to Kaichi Tsuji's unfamiliarity, lack of familiarity with the gi. I feel like unfamiliarity ought to be an actual word. Alright, back fighting. High kick attempt from Kaichi Tsuji. Hits a right hand and a knee to the face. Now he's using the gi. He's got the collar grip, putting his noggin next to Akira Soji's noggin. Yeah, there's definitely like wrestling style control. Using his head as an extra limb there in the control point. Of course, that does leave you kind of open to uppercuts. But, nice calf kick from inside the clinch. Justin Gaethje doing that shit these days, and people are like, oh, look at this stuff, it's so innovative, and just here's Kaichi Tsuji doing it in 1997. Morote Seoinage attempt from Akira Soji, but he's committed too hard on the throw, and he has been stuck with by the man Kaichi Tsuji. So that is the issue with judo throws. Quite often they require an extreme amount of commitment, and what would be a scoring throw in judo, so where you're like, oh, got the guy off his feet, it's all good, is not a good idea in a mixed martial arts contest, because you land up with your back taken and being pounded out, or having a man try to choke you to death, as Kaichi Tsuji is doing here. Basically trying to camel clutch Akira Soji before just basing up and punching him in the body. Yeah, I'm inclined to believe that is a Kyokushin karate gi that our man Kaichi Tsuji is wearing. Because it looks tougher than like your standard touch sparring one, but it doesn't look tough as it needs to be. Alrighty, back fighting. Kaichitsuji in sort of three-quarter mount here, sort of halfway on the side, halfway on the back of Akira Soji. But definitely starting off this round by winning. Due to the overcommitment of that throw from Akira Soji, and now he's getting punched in the body. This is not a comfortable place to be. Not much changing here. Yeah, they definitely got rid of the nicer crab ride from... Well, that's not crab ride, but the way he sort of grapevined his leg all the way through of Akira Soji's there and poked his head out the side. Good wrestling control that has allowed him to maintain the back there where he could have been swept. Nice shit from Kaichitsuji. But yeah, they definitely got rid of the stalemate rule. Because there's no way they would have tolerated this level of relaxation on the ground in the old Lumax Cup. I hope that Yoshinori Nishi goes at the back and complains. Like the cantankerous old man that he is. They'd have never let this happen in my day. Alrighty, there we go. And they've given the fight to Kaichitsuji, which I think is deserved. Definitely won that second round, definitely won the striking in the first round. I'm actually not even sure if they score the first round. We've got some nice licensed music in the background, so I'll do my best to talk over that the entire time so that we don't get the copyright bot striking us down. Kaichitsuji looking pretty happy with himself. In good shape, too. Akira Soji looking like the pre-lump of shit Akira Soji. Probably extremely disappointed with himself. Previous to this, Akira Soji had fought on Koppu Cult Bone Festival 2, Koppu versus Keshikai. Don't ever watch that event. It is a hunk of garbage. It's only an hour long, but it's like all the fights go to decision, and they're all shit, and it's just really bad. Don't bother watching it. And then, of course, he won on Japanese Extreme Ballet Judo Challenge Open of 1997. He won his fight against the guy from Pardo Sport there. Then he has come to the Lumax Cup tournament of J to lose. Later on, he will, of course, end up in Pride as one of the big Japanese names. He was sort of Mr. Pride in the end there. I believe it was Shungo Oyama who fought on nearly every single Pride show, but Akira Soji was up there fighting on a fair few as well. Kaichitsuji pretty happy with himself. Yeah, both his ears are cauliflowered, so I think he's definitely a wrestler. Definitely with that like headlock, that close head control. Definitely freestyle wrestling based or Greco-Roman based. Handsome dude too. What has Kazunari Murakami got to say about this? I've got no idea. Maybe he's talking about the use of the jacket by Akira Soji. He said jacket, he said judo, so maybe he's thinking that the overcommitment on that judo throw from Akira Soji is what cost him the fight in the end there, which is what I think. And then we've got this. This is the killer fight. This first one. This is the hardest first round matchup for either of these two fellas. Masanori Suda taking on Ryuta Sakurai. Ryuta Sakurai has got Hiroki Yoshioka in his corner, which is interesting. So maybe they were both KZ's Factory's guys. And he's drinking some sort of Sunny D. And wearing a pretty cool Planet of the Apes shirt. Ryuta Sakurai, of course, fought in the previous year's Lumax Cup tournament of J, and I believe he lost to Masanori Suda in the second round? Or was it the first round? Let's have a look. Had a 50-fight career, so I've got to go through a fair few fights here. 1996. So he beat Katsuhisa Fuji in the first round by decision, and then would lose to Hiroyuki Yoshioka in the second round. So there you go. Not Masanori Suda. I'm just imagining shit. Of course, Masanori Suda went to the finals last year, and will maybe go to the finals again this year. Let's find out. Will he face Tsuneki Kuda again? Because I believe last time he lost by a... I think he lost by... he lost by heel hook in the finals to Tsuneki Kuda. After beating Kazunari Murakami with an armbar, and beating Yuzo Tateshi also with an armbar. And who else did he beat? Masanori Suda beat Yuichi Otsuka also by an armbar. So 3 armbars and then no further, which is unlucky. This is a 16-man tournament. That's a pretty long one. Is this one? Oh no, it was a 10-man tournament where like 2 guys. Fuck, I can't even remember. Fuck, watch it. Watch the damn video and you can learn. But it had 4 rounds, whereas this one has only had 3. Alrighty. Masanori Suda taking on Ryuta the wrestler Sakurai. Suda in the Sambo Kurtka landing a nice hard outside low kick. Uchimata attempt from Ryuta Sakurai. Nice chain wrestling from Suda there. Shoots low, gets picked up by the overhook whizzer and then into the Uchimata. Counters the Uchimata by turning into Ryuta Sakurai and hits the inside sweep to inside reap to come out on top. Tries to hammerlock Ryuta Sakurai from inside his guard. Now he's given up on that. Ryuta Sakurai has the underhook on the side, which he needs to get up, but he's being kept flat by that crossface of Masanori Suda. Suda going back to the hammerlock there, using his head to push the fist of Ryuta Sakurai down. Maybe he's going to use that to pass, because I don't think he's going to actually get it. Yeah, still using his head. Very smart there, very good grappling, using your head as a 5th limb to line up that hammerlock. Ryuta Sakurai manages to reap it back all the way. Masanori Suda has enough of that, punches him in the fucking body. 2 body punches. 3 body punches, 4 body punches. Working some ground and pound in this school of Lumax. Reaching over the head of Ryuta Sakurai makes him a little bit sweepable. If Sakurai can get up on his side. Yeah, Sakurai attempted to sweep him over his head and nicely timed by Masanori Suda to scooch out into mount here. On top in mount, gripping, trying to lock up one of the arms of Ryuta Sakurai, I think? Yep, definitely trying to lock up the armbar on Sakurai here. Flatten, breaks the grips, gets the armbar, nicely done, smooth as silk by Masanori Suda. There we are. Look at that armbar. Normally I'd say going for armbars from mount is a mugs game and a great way to give up top position. And it still is in a gi, but it's kind of less so because you can sort of grip and you're sort of less passable. Let's hear what Masanori Suda has to say for himself. Yep, I got none of that. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Must learn Japanese. I'll get Duolingo or whatever is on my phone. Get annoyed by that owl all the time. Ryuta Sakurai looking a little bit upset with himself, but understandably. Maybe he thinks he was doing some dumb shit. Maybe he was. Alright, so that brings us to our semi-finals. We'll have Gachitsuji taking on Masanori Suda, and we will have Toshinobu Komeya taking on Sine Kukuda. Who do you think's going to win that one? So here we are taking a little break and talking to Sine Kukuda again. We're going to keep pretending that he hasn't, you know, this isn't the day after, or what? Apparently we are. A lot of soda snares being thrown around. Here we have a little digest match. So they held a couple of lower weight class fights. We've got Ma Sakurai here, legendary fighter. At one time in his career, the pound for pound best fighter in the world as ranked by most people. And he's taking on a guy who we will see in the middleweight tournament of J, but I can't remember his actual fucking name. So, but we'll see him next time I do some more Lumaxing. Or maybe... No, it appears Ma Sakurai here fighting other people. So here we are, throwing some punches. So we've got our guy, which we'll see later on, fighting some Sambo dude. Good brawl by these two here. Shame they've shrunk this fight down unless nothing else interesting happens. And a cool fucking leg scissors from the Sambo guy into an inverted heel hook. Good shit. That's the kind of stuff I like to see. But of course the gi is his downfall there. A nice knees to the body on the ground too. This is good work. And for some reason they decided to cut this out and give us all of Toshinobu Komeya versus Hiroki Yoshioka. I'll never understand people. But that apparently went to a referee's decision, and I think that the Sambo guy won that one. Alright, here comes Ma Sakurai. Man of shooting, taking on some dude in a karate gi. Landing some hard fucking knees in the clinch and then flattening him. Hitting a nice straight armbar. And that is the end of the match before Ma Sakurai finished that armbar. And of course he wins the decision by 2-0. I quite like Ma Sakurai in his Shuto years. He went through sort of like a middle of career rough period before having a renaissance. But his early Shuto stuff is great because he's just cartwheel passing and rolling thundering people all the time. Just like it's nothing. Then he has a little bit of a rough period in the middle of his career, and then there's that late career resurgence where everyone thought he was kind of washed up, and then he showed up in Pride just looking like a new man, beating the snot out of everybody. And, yeah, doing very well, especially in the lightweight Bushido tournament. Here we have Carl Luno, high-pitched badass with bad teeth. Here we have his previous win at the Japan Extreme Valley Judo Challenge Open. And we're going to interview him because apparently they interviewed everybody while they were at the Keshikai school. Looking absolutely tiny here. Carl Luno went through some phases in his career where he like started out super skinny and then he got fucking mega buff around 2002. Because I remember seeing his ring special rules match with TK, so they just like have a good little shoot style match, and he is like TK's what 110 kilos of big judo boy. And in comes this fucking super jacked Carl Uno. Just doesn't look out of place in the ring with him. It's crazy how fucking large he got for that fight. There's Uno wearing his Keshikai gi. And yeah, far and away the best of the Keshikai guys. I've seen this guy's head before. He's fought on some Shudo events and will fight in the Tournament of J lightweight. Sprawls on that takedown from Carl Uno. Carl Uno working to get his guard back, uses the grip on the wrist to recover guard. Nicely done, Carl Uno, but that was a shitty old takedown attempt, and he ends up getting passed and mounted by our fellow here. On a rear naked choke attempt, but he manages to get up onto his side, taking a bit of the stink off the choke. Getting whacked in mount. I'm surprised they're not wearing gis. That's, is this Lumax or not? Nice backdoor escape. Single leg. Knees him in the face accidentally on the ground. Throws a nice 1-2. Nice left hook there. Another nice left hook there. Well done, Carl Luno. Oh, right hook, sorry. Because he was in a southpaw stance. Hits a hip bump sweep. Takes the back with a body triangle. Like, Carl Luno, I really enjoy watching him grapple. I've got an instructional of his. It's Super MMA Fight Game Plan or whatever, and I've got to watch that all. And there we are, called a draw, because it's not a tournament round. Fucking look at that eye! One of those hooks of Carl Uno must have blown up a massive hematoma in his opponent's noggin. And he seems pretty happy with his performance. And old mate here doing the right thing, putting some ice on that fucking gigantic eyeball of his. And we're going to have a exhibition match between that dipshit from Pride 1, Kasunari Murakami. Lazy pad work here from Toshinobu Kameya, just sort of standing there taking punches and getting kicked in the leg. And this guy we have seen once before. We saw him at Japan Extreme Valley Judo Open, but I can't remember his name for the life of me. He had a fucking awful cauliflower ear. It was like the size of my fist on his ear. It was fucked. So he's obviously had that drained since, which is nice. And so he and Murakami are going to have a little muck around for us all. As a palate cleanser while everyone takes a break after the first round of the tournament. He has mentioned judo and newaza, so he obviously wants to throw Murakami and get to work on the ground. Alright, here we go. And these two guys aren't in gears either. What the fuck? Watering down Lumax. Murakami bitches that takedown. Hits a nice low single of his own, turning the corner. Yeah, definitely pulling the strikes here. Murakami in pro wrestling, I'm pretty sure, hit people way harder than he ever punched anybody in his fucking MMA career. Apart from Bart Vale, he flatlined Bart Vale. But that's like the heat in these pro wrestling working strikes. That's what he throws, and it's crazy. There we go. That's the end of that match. So that was our little digest match palate cleanser. Murakami wearing one of those Carl Weathers string singlets. Show off his sick delts. Obviously not enough juice to have those big old cap delts, which is what you need if you're going to wear that kind of singlet. Alright, so we got the semi-final matchups coming. So is he going to talk about Toshinobu Kamea and say that he's a fat piece of shit and he's not scared at all? Sorry for the noise, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just moving around a lot because it's cold as hell here. Currently in the single-digit degrees and my room does not have a heater. Single-digit Celsius, so, you know, I'm not dying like I would be if it was single-digit Fahrenheit, but, you know, still not warm. I think they're talking about the tournament structure and how that makes fighting differently, but Kazunari Murakami would be used to that shit because of all the judo and jiu-jitsu that he's done in his life. Got some more fucking licensed music in the background. Some pretty shitty rock. So while these two talk, I'm going to plug my own channel. So I sincerely doubt there's anybody that watches these videos over on Pride of Resurrection, but doesn't watch mine over on my channel. But I, of course, run the Gentleman's Combatives channel, where I review and run a retrospective on Pancrase, all the way through from... I believe I started on Eyes of the Beast 4 chronologically, and then running my way through to basically the end of the Shin Guards and Palm Strikes era. I recently wrapped up an interview with the actor, fighter, author, stuntman, fucking whatever else you want to say, Paul Lazenby, and that was a extremely interesting chat that I had with him. So there's all four parts of that up there, talking about his time in Pancrase. And I'm about to run an interview with an Australian fighter who ended up in Pancrase called David Moore. So anybody who's on here in Pride Resurrection and can't get enough of this old Japanese people beating the shit out of each other, please come over to my channel and give us a watch. Alright, here we go. Finally, the semi-finals have started. And we're seeing this flying armbar happen a few times in the graphics. So maybe we'll see it before the end of the event. So I wonder if Tsuneki Kuta is going to be able to throw Toshinobu Kameya, because Hiroki Yoshoika, also a judo guy, was incapable. But then again, Hiroki Yoshoika isn't like as... not of the same caliber as Tsuneki Kuta, ADCC champion. Tsuneki Kuta and Henzo Gracie recently had a rematch at ADCC of their Pride match, and I have no idea how that went. Because I just haven't paid attention to ADCC for ages. This is what you need to do if you're going to get Toshinobu Kameya off his feet. You've got to get that circular movement going and then block out one of his feet so he just falls over. That's what I would do were I a man with the judo skills and size of Tsuneki Kuta. But look at the fucking blood patch on the back of Toshinobu Kameya's gi. He must have used it to patch up his nose rather than using like a towel or a cloth. He used his gi, which is, you know, rough. Nice reap there. So what happened was Tsuneki Kuta got Toshinobu Kameya turning all the way round one leg and then reaped it out with the inside heel of his leg. And fucking brutal way to open the half guard of Kameya there, just fucking stamping on his leg, giving him basically heel strikes on the ground. Very cool. And goes back on the straight ankle lock and the tap from Toshinobu Kameya. He really did not like that one bit. Well done, our main man, Tsuneki Kuta. In a minute, he has finished Toshinobu Kameya. Yeah, there's that throw. Nice. Really nice inner reap there. And then watching him drop back on this, yeah, that is a nice straight ankle lock. Bit high up on the calf for my taste, but it appears to have done some damage to Toshinobu Kameya. Or maybe he just has a low pain tolerance, which is a thing that can happen with some big guys. They just kind of don't like getting hit very much. So Toshinobu Kameya just being outdone completely by Tsuneki Kuta right there. He's getting some ice on that ankle, so maybe my talking about the joints of big guys being kind of shitty has borne fruit, and the ankle of Toshinobu Kameya may be sort of damaged. Probably just some light ligament damage or tendon damage. There we are, looking like a badass Tsuneki Kuta onto the finals. And here we have Kaichi Tsuji taking on our main man. Not our main man, but our other main man, Masanori Suda. So let's see how Suda goes here. Because he had Sakurai sort of in standing up, and then Kaichi Tsuji flicking out with the front kicks, trying to land like snapping front kicks to the body. 1-2 from Masanori Suda into the clinch, jumps on an armbar, flying armbar, misses the armbar. Kaichi Tsuji manages to get his elbow out, but now he's in danger of a toe hold from Masanori Suda. Gone for a heel hook of himself, but he's been caught up with one by Masanori Suda on the way over. Please show me a slow motion replay of that. That was awesome. Alright, so flying armbar. Misses the flying armbar because Tsuji manages to get his elbow free and then reef up out. But rather than trying to re-guard afterwards, he hooks the leg and then he just digs straight for the heel hook, pushing away up at the same time. Nice stuff. And so the moment Kaichi Tsuji was off his feet, he was in that heel hook. So, lightning fast second round there. Kaichi Tsuji with a little scar on his nose, so maybe he got nicked by one of those punches from Masanori Suda, that 1-2. Talking about the jacket, so I think he's uncomfortable and unused to it. But I'm sure he enjoyed fighting. There's Masanori Suda with some sick fucking Iron Chef flame graphics under his noggin. Alright, and here we are, ready for the final. Oh, look at those flames. Yeah, loving it. Loving the production. Bring this shit back to martial arts. Stop trying to make everything fucking football. Make everything theater instead. Looks confident, ready to go. Wonder if Masanori Suda is ready to come out and take revenge for his previous heel hook loss to Tsuneki Kuda. That music is straight up out of Iron Chef. Both of our fellows have had a pretty smooth run onto the finish, all straight submissions all the way. So they've had the easiest fights, so they'll both be pretty fresh leading into the finals. So don't think there'll be any laziness. Alright, here we are, returning to the open mat area, Tsuneki Kuda. And here comes Suda. That heel hook was fucking sick. Just gonna say. Brief focusing prayer from Masanori Suda as he gets ready to come out here. And of course they brought in Yoshinori Nishi, the main man, to referee the finals. Both our boys have been introduced. They will bow to the front, bow to the referee, and bow to each other, and we are ready to go. Straight away, Tsuneki Kuda putting on the pressure. Leaping left hook attempt from Tsuneki Kuda. Front snap kick from Masanori Suda. Maybe like that look from Kaichitsuji. Parries that low kick of Tsuneki Kuda. Lands a low kick of his own into this clinch. Tries for a Harai Goshi. But, yeah, just gets based out by Tsuneki Kuda. Back into this clinch here. Kuda with the superior grip over the back here with a big fistful of the back of Suda's Kurtka. Suda needs to break that that sleeve grip, and you can see he's trying his best, but he's doing it in a judo way. You should just stand up tall, knee our main man Tsuneki Kuda in the face, and then use his knee to break the grip. Oh no! And Tsuneki Kuda goes to the collar. It's a very nice long inside reap and takes down Masanori Suda straight into his guard. Really nice judo there from Tsuneki Kuda, and he timed that. So as Masanori Suda was trying to break the gi, he brought his sleeve in close to his body, and so that allowed Tsuneki Kuda to change grips and then just go for the throw straight away. Very cool judo. Punches to the thigh, elbows to the thigh, trying to lever down the leg of Masanori Suda. Suda using the sleeve grip. Just straight up front naked choke from... No, he's going into Kezugatami from inside Masanori Suda's guard, and normally I would say that is suicidal, like a good way to get your back taken, but because of the gi, the Kurtka, sorry, he's able to keep a control of Masanori Suda by his sleeve, and the friction is too great to overcome to poke Masanori Suda's head out the back and take Tsuneki Kuda's back. Kuda, now he's managed to face back into Masanori Suda, got the crossface in. He doesn't have the underhook on the far side, so it was danger of the sweep there. Well done, Masanori Suda uses the sweep to return to standing. Something you got to remember when you try to sweep people, sometimes you don't hit the sweep, always you end up taking them down. Nice comparison there of power. So Tsuneki Kuda went for his Uchimata throw, and Masanori Suda had to throw his leg up and scooch all the way around to counter it. Then he goes for an Uchimata of his own, and then just barely shifts Tsuneki Kuda. Kikuta landing some nice strikes there. Hit a hook, threw some bombs, and then sprawling on the takedown of Suda here. Sprawling pretty hard. Masanori Suda trying to build up, either trying to return to standing. Oh, he's going to fade back to guard. Not smart, because yeah, I think Kikuta's too big, too strong. Kikuta thinking about the ankle lock again. Masanori Suda having flashbacks of the previous year. Straight ankle lock from Tsuneki Kuda. He's in a pretty good spot here, but Masanori Suda had control of his gi. Oh, smart from Kikuta. So Masanori Suda trying to use the gi to pull himself up onto Tsuneki Kuda, and then Kikuta ditched the leg and then used the inner strength, the pull from Masanori Suda to take top position into top half guard. Very nice. Just straight up trying to gi choke Masanori Suda here, just Ezekiel-ing him. Not something I think he'll be able to get, especially with the gloves in the way. They make it very difficult. It's difficult enough to lock up an Ezekiel without it. Mind you, didn't stop Hidehiko Yoshida against Kiyoshi Tamura. Oh, it goes to a double wrist lock, sits out on the double wrist lock, grip into the armbar, and fuck, that was a very fast, very smooth armbar from Tsuneki Kuda. Thoroughly impressive, going all the way through this year, winning his second Lumax Cup, the heavyweight Tournament of J champion by submission. And here we see the slow motion. So it goes to neck scissors. Uses sitting on Masanori Suda's face to flatten him out when he tries to return to his base. Goes to the armbar control, and he sees that Suda doesn't have his grip locked in and just goes straight for the armbar. Really well done. And uses his corner as a little bit of assistance to get lifted up onto their shoulders. Alright, we will pause it there because I don't really know what these guys are saying, and we might as well wrap it up. Thanks very much for tuning into this episode of Classic MMA Revival. I always enjoy doing these for our main man, the most dangerous man alive today. Please leave a comment if you enjoyed. Give us a like, and of course subscribe to the Pride Resurrection channel. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you all next time.